players, though there are 450, market players are there, but I try to incorporate some of the important players which are befitting to this particular, supply chain segment. So, out of which Ninja Cart is one of the predominant players, followed by Vehicle and then Profarm. What is their value proposition? Their value proposition is efficient supply chain. At the end of the day, the farmer has to be in a position to supply to their produce to the concerned person, and he has to get the income as per the market standards or as per the government standards, whichever is higher. So that particular concept has been adopted by these particular market players, and that's how they have derived this value proposition. And what is the technology intervention? So there is an app-based platform, and then image sensing for quality grading. And yesterday, Dr. Sridhar, I think he must have discussed a lot about IoT. So I don't want to talk about much on IoT because, like today there are some 20 billion instruments that are connected that are coming under IoT vertical. So storage monitoring, if you want to monitor the storage space, there is an IoT based storage monitoring is there. So this is the technology intervention, and because of which, what are the attractiveness? What is the business attractiveness? So directly taking farm output to the consumer, and a huge customer traction can be seen in this business area. Like who is purchasing what, and who is producing, whose product is being sourced, and whose product is being distributed or transferred to where. So a lot of information or a lot of traction which is happening in this particular space can be absolutely tracked. And the highest funding, this is one of the important sectors which is getting highest funding by the venture capitalists or the investors or the promoters. And then it is reducing the post-harvest losses. I tell you, last year, why I directly, sourced around 13 candidates out of my contacts, and all them were employed in supply chain, sector. All of them are employed in supply chain sector. So they were not knowing about these companies, but then, so I intervened at the correct juncture, and they have been employed at this particular company. So because of which, they are getting benefited, and they're making the farmers, benefited. So the post-harvest losses, the reduction in the post-harvest losses were at around 4 to 16% of the total output, which is a considerable proposition and considerable proportion. As I told you, Ninja Cart, I have sourced around 2 employees over there. So they're working at operational level, and it has received the highest funding, $165 million it has received, and 405,000 farmers are being connected to 9,500 retailers. So which is an absolute scalable model, and the impact is it is received the biggest funding in any Indian startup till date from the US investment firm. And there is another company called as Grow Farm, which has received around 509,000 US dollars, and end customer is B2B. It is facilitating farmers supply between farmers and as well as the businesses like retailers. Online retailers are there, offline retailers are there. So it has supplied around fruits and vegetables to our many retailers. So this is also one of the important players. I have listed out important players in this particular landscape. Not only this Profarm, we have FarmLink is there. Vehicle is another important company that is attaining attention in this particular market space. So supply chain as a whole is emerging to the fullest extent in terms of their offerings, in terms of farmers addition, in terms of service that is being driven to the farmers. In all the ways, it is providing a lot of value addition to this particular sector. Yes, ma'am. And then digital agriculture. So what is this digital agriculture? As we have been talking a lot on digital agriculture, so how best we can what you call as put this particular term in terms of our understanding. So if you see the landscape, there are many companies, there are many startups like Fasal, Krishi Hub, Satsur is there, Microp, Cropin, Agnext, Farm ERP, Uctix, Intello Labs. There are very many companies which are absolutely operating into this model, and their value proposition is traceability and crop scanning. Like they're providing a lot of information and intelligence to the farmers in terms of the crop diagnostics, in terms of crop scannings, in terms of what you call as their interventions at the regular crop stages, critical stages of the crop growth. So that is called as a digital agriculture. A lot of data is being flown into this particular system. So through drones, through IoT sensors, through blockchain technologies, image sensings, and then machine learning. So all these particular players who have been operating in this particular space, they are trying to use the data which farmers have not seen. Not seen in the sense, this is a data which is absolutely becoming what you call as organized, in terms of what you call as the artificial intelligence and remote sensing, which is being used to analyze the data. So the data analytics are absolutely in the most professional way, so that it can ascertain the farm productivity, farmers, what you call as the production and productivity at a critical stages of the crop growth, so that they're providing this data to all crops. So far, Cropin is one of the companies which has which has ascertained the data for 265 crops for agricultural processors, distributors, input providers, lenders. So a lot of data has been flown, and this data is pertaining to various stages of the crop growth, so that they will immediately intervene at the required stages to facilitate the farmers to attain the maximum yield. There is another company called as Agnext, which has got cost effective and unique technology offering. What you call as their usage, so that they will rationalize their usage and derive the maximum benefit. So this is a digitalization which is an important component in the field of agriculture, to facilitate all the stakeholders, especially the farmers, as well as the processors, as well as the distributors, to enable themselves with the real time data to minimize the losses and enhance the productivity. Yes, ma'am. And now we have also better access to inputs. If we talk about better access to inputs, so I have to mention the company name as Big Hat. I think many of you must have heard about Big Hat, AgroStar, and Gramophone. Recently, it has evolved into this particular market space. So these are certain companies which are acting as one-stop solution for farmers. So one-stop solution means, especially for agri inputs, these are the companies which are absolutely, procuring quality inputs from, MNCs or the major companies, and they're offering the same inputs to the farmers at a reasonable prices, with a less margin, so that these inputs are going to farmers at their doorsteps. And the farmers, it helps farmers to understand the best input product to increase the yield and productivity. So what is the value proposition? Value proposition is the quality product supply. And they are using the technology, mobile apps and analytics, data analytics, e-commerce. Like, you have seen Amazon, we are just, getting Amazon, Flipkart. These are the market space models that have been catered to the FMCG. But whereas for agri sector, we have companies like Big Hat, AgroStar, Gramophone, and these are the companies. AgroStar, if you see, it has received highest funding of $27 million, as far as the input sector is concerned. This is the one of the important companies in terms of online web-based WebEx, platform for agri inputs. So it is a one-stop solution for farmers. So it will improve, crop production and manage orders and buy supplies online. And almost 4 lakhs, farmers at this particular point of time, they're active in this platform, and it has got engaged with more than 1 million farmers. So very, very important. This is actually confined to northern part of the country. See, Agrostar has not yet made its operations in South India, but then they're starting very shortly their operations. Same is the case with Gramophone. Actually, this is of late. It has come into the operational, commercial operations, and it has raised around $2 million funding. What is this business